Okay, listen up. This is something you won't read in any photography magazine or in any photography book, and God knows I've not heard anybody on YouTube talking about it or anywhere else. People that own really expensive glass. I mean, there's a small handful and some very small groups of, I call them rangefinder sniffers. They sit there and they pet the finish off their Contax cameras and their old $30,000 Leica cameras, and they sleep with them underneath their pillow. There are a few people that know this fact, but you'll never read about it in any magazine. And Voigtlander doesn't advertise in any magazine. Now, both of these are coming out of the same place. There is Zeiss, Carl Zeiss from Germany. A few of the lenses are coming out of Germany. Of course, they're enormously expensive, like the 15mm, which for $2,600 is incredibly overpriced. But the fit and finish on it, these come out of Japan, is absolutely no different, no better than these are. It's an excellent lens, but it's absolutely not worth the money. I mean, I would barely scant to say I'd purchase one if it were $1,300, much less $2,600. Even price being irrelevant, it's not a fantastic lens. I mean, it is excellent, but it's not fantastic. But the point I'm trying to get at this video, over here we have, I didn't pull them all out of the case, I just got 4 of my 9 Voigtlanders out. Some 20mm, some 40, and recently been a couple of you, including Yannick. Yeah, I know you're watching, Yannick, and he bought this lens off my recommendation, and I made a video about this lens already. This is a Voigtlander 58mm f1.4. Now, all of these lenses, too, by the way, are like AIP Nikkor lenses. What does that mean? That means they're all manual focus, and they all have CPU contacts on the back. If I could get the rear cap off there, I can show you. CPU contacts, so you can use them in program mode, aperture priority, shutter priority, or manual. So it is basically kind of like a D-series Nikkor, except it's manual focus. That is like an AIP equivalent. That would be after the AIS, but before the autofocus series came. So these are all very simple lenses. There's nothing inside of them to break. It's all metal and glass. You know, there are no motors inside to break. All of these are like that. Over here, we have some of my Zeiss lenses. And right before I made this video, I was looking at the 7 lenses I laid out, including the 128mm Carl Zeiss that's sitting on the Fujifilm X-T10 there. And I went, oh my God, you know, just these 7 lenses alone is a hair over $8,000. You could buy a nice, well actually I could buy a really nice used BMW Z3 in excellent shape for what the cost of these, what the cost of these 7 Zeiss lenses cost. And of course, oh my God, look at that tunnel of light. The point I'm trying to get at here is that what you don't realize and you're not grasping, you know, I'm trying to save you a buck here. And obviously I've got a couple copies of my favorite 28mm out, excuse me, my 35mm f2 Distagon, which is the best lens that I own, period. But the fit, the finish, the focusing perfection, the attention to detail, the CNC machining, the finishing is 100% identical on the Voigtlanders as it is on these insanely expensive Carl Zeiss lenses. Obviously, Carl Zeiss, as I've made a video before, I've told you Carl Zeiss makes a couple, well, they make more than a couple. They make a few loser lenses, like the 25mm, which Zeiss just announced they're going to stop production on. That lens has just horrible vignetting. Of course, they're rolling out the Mildus line, which is designed for video, and nobody has any estimate on how those are going to be, but I definitely don't like the ergonomics of it. I don't like anything about the form factor of it, and suggestions are that the optics are designed to have perfect corner to corner with sacrificing true rendition both in color and saturation and depth, but that's yet to be determined. But the point here is that you really do need to consider some of these Voigtlander lenses, and they are pretty damn cheap. I mean, a few of you people that have actually bought this. I only had one person say they bought this and returned it, and the only reason they returned it is not because they didn't love the lens, but because they're just too unfamiliar with manual focus. And it is a barrel to jump over. I mean, it's going to take you time to learn manual focus. Now, the newer ones to these, this is all metal scallop. This is an older version with a rubber ring on it. They don't make them like this anymore, so I should have pulled out the newer one, which is all metal. It does not have this rubber ring on it. This is the older 58mm Nocton. By the way, the Nikkor equivalent for this lens, which is inferior, by the way, especially in this build quality, is $1,600. Now, how much does this lens cost? Typically, you can find this lens used for about $350. What? Yes. Same fit and finish, same optical quality, same perfection and focus as, you know, a $1,500 Zeiss over here. Absolutely zero difference. These little pancake 40mm, which are my favorite, because they're so tiny, they're absolutely exquisite. This is actually a removable lens hood. It's kind of not traditional lens hood like you're used to seeing, but this is a 40mm f2 Voigtlander. These are absolutely exquisite lenses, and they're so bloody cheap. I recently saw one of these go for $298 used, like new condition, on eBay. They're absolutely exquisite. Please consider, if you want a lens that's going to last you more than a lifetime and you want absolute perfection without having to pay the price of Carl Zeiss over here, you know, consider the Voigtlanders. I mean, you really, really should. Ask me any questions on these, and I've gone over, I think, all of these Voigtlander lenses individually, as well as all of these Carl Zeiss and some other ones that I'm going to review. Of course, I got a vacation coming up here in a couple weeks. I don't know if I'll get to it before or after, but the point is you're not going to read about this anywhere, and unless you are dwelling amongst some rangefinder Leica sniffers, as I like to call them. They're hoity-toities. They remind me of wine sniffers. They've got a cracker. What was that joke about the hoity-toities that were born without a rectum? They're just they think they're perfect beings, and everybody else is in a subclass to be ignored. They're kind of like that. So that's the only place anywhere that you're actually going to get this information. But I have to present it to you because you just don't find this. You know, you go to your camera store, you open up any photography magazine ever written, you know, God knows when, they're not going to tell you this fact. And this isn't, well, that's your opinion, you know, I'm glad your input. No, that's not the case. This is purely objective. The quality, the fit and finish, the optics, the machining, the anodizing, the build is absolutely not 1% different than the Carl Zeiss. Over here we do, however, have a different set of lenses. Outside of the 58mm, we are looking at tiny form factor pancake lenses. But they are low element count, they are incredibly sharp, they are exquisitely fine in rendering, saturation, color and depth, excuse me. So please take a consideration of if you wanted a nice Carl Zeiss, but you didn't want to pay that extreme amount of money, to consider some of the Voigtlanders over here. Okay? I'm using my calm and peaceful voice this evening. Let me know if you got any questions, and I'll catch you later. Goodbye. Thank you for watching. If you like this video, you can drop a buck or two, or you can tell me to go jump off a cliff. Whatever makes you the most happy. Another video from the angry photographer, who's not really that angry at all. Thanks. Bye.